imagine there would be times when you want to program to repeat certain lines of code in sequence. And that certain lines of code form a logical unit of reusable code. In this session, we will see what are functions and how do we create our own functions and what are functions and parameters. Let's take an example where you want to create a square. So what will be the commands if you want to create a square? The commands to create a square will be move forward 100 pixels. So here, let's say we are going to create a square of 100 pixel side. Move forward 100 pixels, turn right 90 degrees. Why 90? Because my square has got 4 sides and 360 divided by 4 is 90. Turn right 90 degrees, and this all needs to be repeated 4 times to create a square. Right. So you have a square in front of you. So your question could be, why do I need a function? I have the square created. Yes, very good. You have a square created, but consider a scenario where you want to create multiple squares. So what you will have to do, you will have to keep repeating this entire 3-4 lines of code again and again. And you can see that it forms a logical unit. What is the logical unit? Create a square. These 3-4 lines of code create a logical unit. So what we can do, we can combine all this code inside a logical unit and name it and give it a name. The name could be rectangle. So say for example, here to my function, I give a name rectangle. So what will happen? Wherever I want to call these 3 or 4 lines of code again, I can call it by its name, by the name of its function. So if I want to create 2 rectangles, I will just have to call rectangle, rectangle, or RECT in this case twice, and this will create 2 rectangles. So it is easy, right? Instead of writing this cumbersome code 2, 3, 4 or maybe 100 times, I will just have to call the function name. And you can call this function name anytime, anywhere in your code. Whenever you need to create a rectangle, just call this function and it will do the needful. So see one thing, I am seeing one constraint. My function is always going to create a rectangle which is of 100 pixel side. No, it doesn't look good. It is always creating a rectangle which is of 100 pixel side. So it makes it a little less useful. So what we can do, if I want it to be dynamic enough, so that it can create a square of n pixel side. N could be any number. N could be any integer number from 1 to whatever number you want to give it. So if I want to make this function dynamic so that it can create a square of any length size, what do we do? In this case, we can pass a parameter n to this function. Okay. In this case, what do? We can pass a parameter n to this function. And whatever parameter is coming to this function as an input is being used instead of 100 pixel. So what is the input parameter? This is called input parameter. So what is an input parameter? An input parameter is the parameter that is being passed to a function to be used later for any kind of calculation or any kind of manipulation or functions. So here in this case, this n is my input parameter. So your program or your function may have many input parameters. It is not necessary that your function may have only one parameter. Your function may have multiple parameters as well. So in this case, when I have created a function with one single input parameter, what do? If I want to create 2 rectangles of different size, I will just have to pass the size of the rectangle when we are calling the function. So calling the function means when we want to use that function definition. So this is how we can call it. Rectangle 100, rectangle 50. So that's all about functions. See you soon in the next video. Bye-bye.